Hello everyone, welcome back once again. My name is Bahadur Mori and I am an English and SS teacher in Sahajanan English Medium School. And this is the part 2 of this video, Standard 8 Social Science, chapter number 1. Standard 8 Social Science, chapter number 1, Arrival of Europeans in India. This is part 2. In the part two, I just want to recall you. We talked about how when we talked about India have a uncomparable had an uncomparable position in the world, and all the country want to trade with India. And after that, eventually, what happened? We already talked about that. Turkey Muslim conquers the Constantinople. Constantinople is the center of the trading center at that time. So European can't reach to India, can't come to India because of Constantinople was conquered by Turkish Muslim in the year of 1450 approximately. Clear. So at that time they confuse the Constantinople, this one in the you can see on the map Constantinople's, and that's why they need to find a new sea route to India, that we already taught, right? And then many sailors like Christopher Columbus and Vasco da Gama, this all are we taught about it. And finally Vasco da Gama found the way and found the route to reach to India, right? And 22 May 1498. Right. So this is how the era of geography finished, and Vasco da Gama found a new sea route to India. And then Portuguese started his trading center. He established his first trading center at Kochi, right? Calicut Bandar, and there was a Jamorin king, King Jamorin, who gave the permission to trading in India to Portuguese, and Portuguese started his the trading center and expand his trading center into India. And he first one thing, and he conquered the Goa 1506 in the year of 1506. Then he expanded within a 100 year. He Portuguese to control the Mangalore, Cochin, Goa, the Mumbai island of Sri Lanka, many. Right. Then we talked about end of Portuguese rules. How the end of Portuguese rule, that we talked about in the 17th century. Portuguese want to extend his trading into eastern side. So they toward just they moved toward Bengal side, and they started the trading, and so they're disturbing to the that particular they established their trading center, right, at Bengal side. And at the Bengal, their Mughal Emperor Shahjahan was ruling at that time, all in the country, center point of Delhi. And thus the Shahjahan gave to order to demolish the fort center of Portuguese, and destroy the all ships of Portuguese. So this how the Portuguese rule, the rule came to end, with the exception of the territory of the Daman and Goa. So this is how Portuguese lost his territory. Now further, we are going to learn about the Dutch. Very important peoples. Dutch also came to India, and now we are going to teach about Dutch. So listen very carefully. I will explain every point wise. I try to very, I know I repeat very fastly the previous, but we have to manage the time also. So please, every line and explain you important words. I will explain you in the easy way, and also underline it. So the Dutch, after 100 years of the arrival of Portuguese, right, at the end of the 16th century, the Dutch of Holland, Dutch people from Holland, please underline this one. Now, now it's called Holland, called Netherlands, right? So 16th century, the Dutch of Holland, now called Netherlands, came to India. 16th century, in the 16th century, Dutch people from Holland, they came to India for trading. See, everyone came for India for trading, that means business. Initially that means starting of period, they established fort at Pulicat and Madras, now Chennai. Please underline, initially on the starting of base Holland, that means Dutch people establishes fort at where? So your answer will be Pulicat and Madras. So Pulicat and Madras, these two names you have to memorize, underline it. They also established a trading center at Agra in the year of 1663. So please also underline Agra. Agra in the year of 1663. The three trading center he established. Right. First fort established Pulkit and Madras, Chennai, and also established center in Agra, UP, year 1663. Meanwhile, the British also arrived in India. In this century, British also arrived. The Dutch could not withstand the competition against the British. See, Dutch people have no power, no equipment comparison to with comparison with British, so they can't stand with British and they lose his side, their side. So this is how Dutch people. Very little information about Dutch people. Only one thing: after 100-year arrival of Portuguese, Dutch people came to India. And in the 16th century, Dutch people of Holland, now called Netherlands, they came to India for trading. They established port at Pulkit, Madras, right, in Chennai, and also established in the Agra. They also had trading center of center at Agra. What is the trading center of Dutch people? The trading center at Agra in the year of 1663. But Dutch people can't stood with withstand with British. He can't fight with British, and he can't stable competition against British. He just defend it. So he lose his side, and Dutch rule came to end. Right. So this is Dutch people against about the Dutch information. Very little information. Now I am going to teach you about very important part, British interest in India. Now see, this one according to our history, this one according to our ninth standard, this part is very important. British, as we know, British ruled many years in India, so we have to know about how they rule, how they come, what exactly they ruled at that time. So let's start. During the reign of Queen Elizabeth of England in year of 1600 CE, the British established the East India Company. So when was British established the East India Company? In 1600, right, 1600 year, 1600 CE, they established the East India Company with the permission of Elizabeth. This one underline please. The British established the East India Company in 1600 CE. This is your important line. This company belonged to the merchant who wanted to increase their wealth by undertaking trade with India. So this is the merchant trading, right? This company is only for a business, only for a trading, and they want to undertake the trade with India. The first British ship in India at the port of Surat in the year of 1608. Please make underline. The first British ship arrived in India at the port of Surat in the year of 1608. One line. Second, who was the captain of that ship? Captain Williams Hawkins. W. That means Williams. Captain William Hawkins, the captain of the ship, was the first Britisher to set foot in India. Who was the first Britisher to set foot in India? Who was the first Britisher to set foot in India? So your answer will be William Hawkins. Captain William Hawkins, who set foot in India, who was the first set foot in India. Right. He met Jahangir but did not get his permission to trade. Mr. Hawking tried to get the permission from Jahangir. At that time, Jahangir was ruling in India, right? The main ruler, Jahangir, Mughal emperor. But he did not get his permission to trade. Thereafter, who came? Thereafter, Sir Thomas Roy. Please make underline. This one also also important character. Sir Thomas Roy. Third, Thomas Roy arrived in India, who acquired the permission to establish a trading center in Surat. So Sir Thomas Roy arrived in India and acquired, that means got the permission from Jahangir. He convinced him. He convinced him to for how to take a permission and a trading center in Surat. Later, Delhi went to the hands of Shah Jahan. After that, Jahangir gave to permission to Thomas Roy for a trading, and later on went to the hands of Shah Jahan. Then Jahangir, after Shah Jahan ruled Delhi, Shah Jahan gave permission to the British to carry out trade in Bengal. See, here it too, William Hawkins did not get a permission from Jahangir, but Captain Thomas Roy got permission from Jahangir for trading, and he established his first, this India at the port of Surat. 1608 they came to India, right? And Captain William Hawking did not get a permission from Jahangir, but Thomas Roy got permission from the Jahangir. You have to memorize. After that, Jahangir, the Delhi Sultanate went to hands of Shah Jahan, and Shah Jahan gave to permission to British to carry out his business, to carry out trade in Bengal, right? So in the who gave to permission to the British to carry out trade in Bengal? So your answer will be Shah Jahan. And who gave to permission? Right. First, who gave to permission to establish the trading center at Surat? So that time, Jahangir, your answer. Clear? Don't be confused. So these how British have got a permission, and British started his business. Portuguese already started, Dutch people, and now about the French people, French colony. The French, also European country. The French established the French East India Company in the year of 1664. See, please underline this one. The French established the French East India Company in the year of 1664 CE. They established factories in Surat. See, Surat, very important place regarding to our history. They established factories in Surat, and the second place is Machilipatnam and Pondicherry right now. The head of the French company was Joseph Francois Dupleix. Please underline this one. Very important name from French. This only one name. The head of the French company. Who was the head of the French company? Who was the French head of company? Joseph Francois Dupleix. That was the head of the French company, who had the desire to expand and increase. They want to grow his trading center, expand the European rule in India. This was the man who expanded the European rule in India, Joseph. Thus, the French and the British stood in competition against each other to become a strongest European company. So now British East India Company and French East India Company against versus. They want to they fight to each other for a trading in India. There were innumerable disputes and battles. That means innumerable, unlimited dispute and battles between British and French. And finally, the British emerged as the winner. So between who? Between French and British. British was won that war. They emerged as a winner. However, the French retained their control over the trading center of Pondicherry, Mahé and Chandigarh. Please underline this one. After the lost with British, however, somehow managed French, and they survived these three territories: Pondicherry, Mahé and Chandranagar. Clear? Third point is the British stayed in Bengal. Now, this one is very important. Slowly, Britishers came to India, got the permission. They expand his territory. They defend to French. Then this Dutch people, and slowly they emerge their power. Sorry. So now about the British stayed in India, because British peoples affect India very much. That we all know, right? So we have to know about it. The British first started their trade on the bank of river Hooghly and established fort in the year of 1650 CE. Please underline this one. The British first started their trade on the bank of the river Hooghly and established fort in the year of 1651 CE. This is important line. When was the British established trade center in the bank of river Hooghly, Bengal? The year 1651. The fort were garrisoned for their protection of the factory and got the permission from the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb to trade without paying tax against the annual payment. See, now story tweeted twist happened. The fort were garrisoned for their protection. So they of their factory and got the permission from the Mughal emperor. He got the permission from the Mughal emperor. Okay, we want to build a fort for our protection, for our ship, and for our business. So and for our factories, they got the permission of Mughal emperor Aurangzeb. Third name Aurangzeb. Shahjahan, Jahangir, and third Mughal emperor Aurangzeb. Right. To trade without paying tax. Without paying tax, they got the permission against the annual payment. है ना? Against an annual payment, yearly payment they. And here is the picture. You can just imagine picture ship of British and their forts. There is a fort and ship of British. You can imagine they are trading here over here India. How much India position that was. We uncomparable position in the ancient time. See, you can see the map over here. 1797. See, this marks British rules. You can see Indian Ocean, the local rule. In 1797, the local rule more and more in India. And that time, British rule only at some few places. You can see first map. Then 1840, British rule increased. They expand these rules. See, you can see through the map. Third map, 1857, they almost cover India. Some few part of Gujarat and Rajasthan and somewhere else in the Nepal side and Jammu Kashmir sides and all that. But most probably they cover it. 1857. So you can calculate through from 1608 to 1857. They expand this rule how much. The expansion of the British rule between 1757 C and 1857. Here is the map. Okay, I am going to read about it. By this time, the East India Company was in a race to earn more and more money. See, everyone to earn more and more money from India. As per the order passed in Bengal, only the company availed the benefit of tax-free trading. See, tax-free trading got permission from Aurangzeb, British East India Company. They have more power. Now they don't need to pay a tax. So they earn more money. However, many officers who were engaged in private trade did not pay the taxes as well as. See, many officers who were also engaged, also joined with the private trading, private business, they also did not pay the taxes as well. As a result, the income generated from the tax collecting in Bengal reduced. Obviously, British did not give taxes, and other private sector persons who doing a business privately, they also did not give taxes. So that particular area, Bengal area, reduced his tax income. Right. So reduced, which in a turn was opposed by the Nawab of Bengal, Murshid Quli Khan. Please underline this one. Reduced with the turn was opposed by the Nawab, who opposed to the regarding the tax related. Right. So the Nawab of Bengal, Murshid Khan. This dispute kept on recurring even during the time of Ali Vardi Khan. After Ali Vardi Khan, his son Siraj-ud-Dullah took charge. He got involved into a major battle with the British. See, very important name, Siraj-ud-Dullah. Right. Three names we taught. Murshid Quli Khan, who opposed regarding this income, we are reducing our tax income. They complained to the Mughal emperor. See, right now we are losing in the taxes income. Then after the dispute, that means some kind of issues, that is called dispute, right? So they dispute kept on the recurring even during the time of Ali Vardi Khan. Also during the time of Ali Vardi Khan, and Murshid Khan both are opposite. They were not satisfied because the tax income is reduced. Right. After that, Ali Vardi Khan, his son Siraj-ud-Dullah. So who What is the name of Sirajuddaulah father? What is the name of Sirajuddaulah father name was Ali Vardi Khan. Clear? So Sirajuddaulah, son of Ali Vardi Khan, took charge. After the Ali Vardi Khan, Sirajuddaulah took charge. He got involved into the major battle with the British. He got involved into the major battle with the British. What are the battles? What were the battles? That was we will learn. So now important battle of Plassey. Here is the picture of Siraj-ud-Dullah, son of Ali Vardi Khan. So battle of Plassey, according to our history, very important. So Siraj-ud-Dullah became a Nawab of Bengal in the year of 1756. Please underline it. Siraj-ud-Dullah became Nawab of Bengal in the year of 1756. Underline this one. He had an overwhelming influence over the British, and the British held the competitor of Siraj-ud-Dullah by the conspiring against him so that he would not remain on the throne of Bengal. Okay, I will explain you again. He had an overwhelming influence over the British. He just overwhelming influence over the British, or he just disturbing to Britishers. The British held the competitor of Siraj-ud-Dullah Khan. So obviously, once if you are king, so you have a opposite. You have a enemies. So like same way, British are very smart people. They started to provoke opposite person who opposite to Siraj-ud-Dullah Khan. He support to opposite person, right? Siraj-ud-Dullah Khan by the conspiring. That means a dispute, create a dispute against the Siraj-ud-Dullah Khan, and so that he would not remain on the throne of Bengal. So that's why Siraj-ud-Dullah Khan. British want to remove Siraj-ud-Dullah Khan from throne. They want to remove because Siraj-ud-Dullah Khan disturbing to British. That's why. There were frequent conflict that means Vivad. There were frequent conflict with the British merchant regarding payment of taxes. So Siraj-ud-Dullah Khan and British are constantly conflict between them regarding to taxes issue. Because British already got the permission from Aurangzeb, they will doing trading without taxes, and Siraj-ud-Dullah Khan want to tax. So this is dispute between Britisher and Siraj-ud-Dullah Khan. They continuously disturbing. When the British merchant failed to pay taxes which were applicable to both Indian and foreign merchant, the situation came to the boil. So now British did not pay taxes. So already Indian trader also don't want to pay the taxes. That conflict between increase they like a boil. Boil that means hotting. So he ordered that the British should not fortify the factory, pay the taxes as per the rules and trade as per the terms of conditions. So Siraj-ud-Dullah Khan gave to order that the British has to pay the tax. Otherwise he should not fortify the factory and pay the tax. Otherwise what will happen we will see. For the rules state as per the terms and conditions. So Siraj-ud-Dullah gave to order that you have to pay the tax with the rules and regulation and with the condition. This provocation was enough for Siraj to opt for war. When the Siraj-ud-Dullah said this sentence if you will not pay taxes, you will not fertile a factory and you have to pay the tax. So this sentence is enough for war. Provocate, emerge it, and he succeeded in the expelling the British from Calcutta. Right. So the British counter-attack under the leadership of Robert Clive. He just started the war with the British, or he succeeded in expelling the British from Kolkata. He want to remove the British from the Kolkata. The British counter-attack he defend under the leader of Robert Clive. Please underline Robert Clive, very important character. So British attack, right, counter-attack under the leadership of Robert Clive. Clive bribed Mir Jafar, the commander in the chief of Siraj-ud-Dullah, please underline Mr. Jafar, Mir Jafar, right? Mir Jafar, the commander-in-chief of Sirajuddaulah, with a promise to confer the throne of Bengal to him and convinced him to join their side. Now, see, bribe that means किसी को स्पॉयल कर देना, किसी को अपनी तरफ खींच लेना, उसको भड़का के उसको समझा के अपनी तरफ ले लेना. तो ब्राइब उसको रिश्वत देना, इन शॉर्ट. ही ब्राइब द मीर जाफर. Who Mir Jafar? The commander-chief of Sirajuddaulah Khan. Commander-in-chief of Sirajuddaulah Khan, British bribed the Mir Jafar, and because of Mir Jafar bribe, Sirajuddaulah lost his war. So he convinced to him, and why he convinced him that if you will support us, so we will give you throne of Bengal, right? Because British are very smart, so he just give some lalach like this way. So they convinced to the Sirajuddaulah, they convinced to the Mir Jafar. Sirajuddaulah in the Battle of Plassey. This was the first war fought by company in India. Which was the first war fought by company in India? East India Company. The Battle of Plassey. Please underline. This was the first war fought by company in India, which marked the beginning of the British rule in India. This is the war which marked the beginning of the British rule. This is the Battle of Plassey. British with Sirajuddaulah Khan. Robert Clive played a main character. Robert Clive, Sirajuddaulah Khan, and Mir Jafar. There are three characters. Battle of Plassey. Thus, this war is considered to be the turning point in history of India. Which one is the turning point of history of India? The Battle of Plassey. Battle of Plassey and the three main characters: Sirajuddaulah Khan, Mir Jafar, and Robert Clive. Why the war happened? Due to the tax issues, conflict, right? And the British didn't pay the tax. Sirajuddaulah Khan can't accept it. So he disturbing the British. British don't want to continue the Sirajuddaulah Khan on throne. So they tried to some other way. They provoke opposite of Sirajuddaulah Khan. They bribed to Mir Jafar, the commander-in-chief of Sirajuddaulah Khan, and they convinced to commander-in-chief of Sirajuddaulah Khan that if you support us, we will give you throne of Bengal. He convinced Sirajuddaulah Khan, Sirajuddaulah Khan, commander-in-chief of Sirajuddaulah Khan, Mir Jafar convinced, and finally Battle of Plassey happened, and Robert Clive and Mir Jafar, those all are one side, and Sirajuddaulah Khan one side, and these are Battle of Plassey lost Sirajuddaulah Khan, and the British make a remarkable moment in history because of Battle of Plassey, right? Here is the we have to pause it this video. This is the part 2, right? So in this part we will learn very important in the time to hear Sirajuddaulah. Next part will be soon according to our time, part 3. We will learn further in the part 3. I hope you got every point and every line. I gave my best, and please stay home, stay safe, and write every line, every point in your fair book. Important line, underline it, highlight it, and recall it again and again, revision again and again. History required revision, right? We will meet on next video, right? So please take care of yourself, stay home, stay safe, right? Bye.